You're on a new path now, baby. I feel like I am a hot mess, train wreck right now. And I think I just want this to be behind me. I know I want this to be behind me. Hey everyone, I'm Melanie with Fruition Farmstead. Say that fast 5 times. Fruition Farmstead. Anyways, I'm here to talk about speed bumps today because I actually have been experiencing like a series of speed bumps. And this is not how I was expecting to start out this journey of building our farmstead. Back in October of 2021, just this last year, I got hit with COVID like so many other people have been going through, and I had a bit of a harder time with it than my husband, who is considerably older than I am. He just kind of glided through it. I wouldn't say glide. He didn't glide through it. We were both like out on the couch and not doing anything, and lost all of our energy. But then I started having additional complications. I got to the point where I was not able to hold down any food or water for 4 days. And that landed me in the ER to get an IV infusion. And then now, so this episode certainly is not a comfortable episode. I'll be talking about a few things that are a little queasy. So if you're easily impacted by queasy stuff, this is not the episode to watch. I ended up having diarrhea. That's really embarrassing. Yeah, I had diarrhea for a month. Who has that for a month? It was a terrible experience. So basically I lost, a lot of my micronutrients, and a lot of times when people go through, an illness like that, it'll trigger hair loss. I think they call it something like telogen effluvium. And you get stuck in this shedding mode for months. I read that sometimes it can last up to 9 months of hair loss. So I started losing hair more than normal shedding, and that became concerning. And at that same time, I was in the middle of transitioning from one doctor to another doctor because one doctor was retiring. So I wanted to make sure I got in with another doctor. And then speed bump number 2, I end up starting postmenopausal bleeding. And like what is triggering all this? Of course, being menopausal, I started on hormone replacement therapy, and I'm not sure if that played into all of this or what, but suddenly I'm having this heavy postmenopausal bleeding, and I'm trying to get in with my new doctor. They can't get me in for a month. They're just bombarded with COVID cases, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm just stuck here, dealing with this through the holidays, and hair loss, crazy heavy bleeding, and finally get into the doctor, and she says, we're going to send you in for an ultrasound. And I'm like, okay. So I went in for an ultrasound. Now, mind you, while all this is going on, I am in the process of selling my business. So I've got the stress of the health issues, and then the stress of finalizing and selling my business, which, thank goodness, the sale was final on January 11th. And then I had 2 weeks of training for the new owner of the business. So I had that on my plate as well. So sell the business, and then I get a call a week later from the doctor that says, we recommend that you go in and get a biopsy. I'm like, what? That's speed bump number 3, right? I'm like, what? And nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to get that phone call. So I'm like, okay, I'll go get a biopsy. So they sent me to a doctor over in Mesa, and which I'm not going to tell you the details of how that doctor's appointment went, but let's just say it was a bit of a comedy horror flick. Didn't go well. I ended up walking out believing that I had cancer after that examination. And so she sent me to a cancer specialist, and he explained what was going on, that I have a prolapse uterine fibroid. I know lots of other women go through this, so not too concerned about that. But he said, yeah, but it's blocking the cervix, so we actually have to surgically remove that first before we can even do the biopsy. And, so what did they see in the ultrasound? They said, well, you have thickening of the uterine walls, so, that's concern for cancer. And then while we do this surgery, we're going to do the biopsy while you're still in the operating room, using this frozen pathology method. And I'm like, wow, so you're going to, anyway. So there's like 3 unknowns in this situation. So we'll call this door number 1, 2, and 3. Man, I'm telling you, this is not how I imagined starting off this journey with the Farmstead. I pictured myself like, as soon as I was done training the new owner of Wingspace, that I was going to hit the ground running out here. We've already bought, stuff. We have all these projects going on. We were going to build fences and, finish our germination room, and, build a chicken coop, and all of these wonderful projects to look forward to. And that's what I was thinking I was going to be doing. Immediately after training the new owner. And then all of a sudden, you're on a new path now, baby. Okay, so door number 1, it turns out to be benign. They partial hysterectomy, using a robotics, right? In and out the same day. Go home, short recovery. Door number 2, it is cancerous, and I have to have a radical hysterectomy in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, 6 to 8 week recovery. Kind of a big deal, right? Or door number 3, depending on the type of cancer, if it is cancerous, they might have to postpone the hysterectomy and go the radiation route and possibly chemotherapy. So we're rooting for door number 1, right? I'm laughing because I've already done the crying thing, right? Like, and the, just shock kind of thing. Like, what? My anxiety has been through the roof over this, and I realize that it's because of the unknowns. It's all those unknowns, right? All those possibilities, and being on the operating table, and decisions being made. Thank goodness my husband will be there, and they'll keep him informed, and he knows what's going on. It's just unnerving, right? this whole woman stuff is just like, it's it gets to a point where it's just too much. So so back to this hair loss thing. So I know, like, in this video, it probably doesn't, you can't tell that I've lost a lot of hair. I have very thick hair. I've always had very thick hair. Hairstylists always commented how thick my hair was and how they would always have to style my hair in like layers. And I would always have to style my hair in 3 layers. And I don't have to do that anymore. I only have to style it in 1 layer. Like, that is, I've lost, from what it feels like to me, I've lost probably about 50% of the volume of my hair. That's how thick my hair is normally. So it's concerning, right? Like, I don't want to lose my hair. And why am I losing my hair? Wait, I mean, it makes sense with between what happened with COVID and, you know, what's happening with the heavy bleeding and everything. It makes sense why I'm losing my hair. So I go to the doctor and I'm like, okay, so how can we stop this? Just assuming that it can be stopped. And, you know, she's like, well, it's going to complete its cycle of hair loss. And so it's different for how long that's going to take. I don't know. So at some point I will have lost enough hair that I'm probably just going to need to get that all chopped off. So I've already been texting with my stylist, like, you know, I need some sort of cute little short hairstyle. I have never really, anytime that I've gotten my hair cut short, I've never really been all that happy with it. So not thrilled about having to get my hair cut short. And I never have liked the whole growing out stage, all those different kind of ugly stages of growing hair out. But anyways, I feel like I am a hot mess, train wreck right now. And I think I just want this to be behind me. I know I want this to be behind me. So say a few prayers for me. I'm going into surgery tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big day. We're heading to Gilbert today and staying in a room across from the hospital. And so that it makes it easy for us to check in the morning to the hospital. So say a few prayers. And also, you know, all you women out there who have... If there's any really kind of cute short hairstyle that you think would look good on me, send me some pictures. I could use some ideas right now because I'm not looking forward to it. And who knows what kind of recovery I will be in. We're shooting, like I said, we're shooting for door number 1. Door number 1. And then after this, I could use, you know, some good laughs. Because I'm kind of tired of all this, especially since a really close friend of mine is also going through something awful. She does have cancer, and we're kind of going through this craziness together, and we're ready for this to just all be over and behind us. I believe I'm in good hands. And I've done, you know, the second opinion, and I've talked with other doctors and my doctor multiple times. And she's given me stuff to deal with my anxiety. So I'm feeling better. But anyway, this is how this journey is starting out instead of the way that I imagined it. Say a few prayers for me, and I will talk to you later.